people. You're listening to Sound Bytes. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And in 5 minutes after the hour, we're going to be bringing you news, views, things to choose, nothing to lose. Kick off your shoes. Don't get the blues. Have you paid your dues? Here comes the news. WordPad, the free word processor included with Windows, is to be discontinued soon. In a blog post about the next preview build of the Windows 11 operating system, Microsoft snuck in the news under changes and improvements after announcing new features. Starting with the next build, the WordPad and People apps will no longer be installed after doing a clean install of the OS. In a future build, WordPad will be removed on upgrade. So, WordPad will not be reinstallable. WordPad is a deprecated Windows feature. WordPad doesn't seem to be well-liked software, neither minimalist like Notepad nor fully featured like Word, but this is quite the ignominious send-off for a 28-year-old app. However, there are some who are speculating that WordPad is getting the axe because it's too good. That is to say, it's good enough that many people can use it as their day-to-day word processor and have no need to buy Microsoft Office to get Word. This is good for people, but bad for Microsoft. Of course, those people who want a great, lightweight, simple-to-use word processor with a lot of features can always use a free product like AbiWord. And those who want a full-featured free word processor with an entire Office suite can always use OpenOffice, but Microsoft would rather you didn't know that. So our poll of the week at soundbytes.org, that's Bytes with a Y, Francis would like us to remind you, is Microsoft is killing WordPad. Your choices are, oh no, I love WordPad. Oh, that's too bad. WordPad's still around? Word what now? And Windows? Meh. So far we have 67 votes, and oh no, I love WordPad is ahead of Windows? Meh. And of course you can vote in the poll. It's very simple. Just head on over to soundbytes.org. That is Bytes with a Y, Francis would like us to remind you. And you can vote in that poll. You can also, of course, if you've got a question, a comment, a suggestion, additions or deletions to the minutes, you can give us a call here, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415.
Just another simple program that was useful, not taking up much code on their end, because it's not like it did, super spell checking and all this other stuff. It was just a quick little, I want to jot something down quickly to have there so I could reference it otherwise.
But it's truly a full-featured word processor, so you could write a book in it. You could write, a proposal in it. You could write whatever you wanted in it without having to buy Word. That's the sticking point for Microsoft. But, I've used AbiWord for 100 years, ABIWORD, AbiWord. And it hasn't been updated in several years, but that's because there just aren't any additional features they want to add to it. They fix, there have been bug fixes, but not updates. All it does is word processing. It's a WYSIWYG word processor. You get bolding and headlines and insert pictures, and you get everything. But you don't, and it does. It does its own format. It does Word documents. It does OpenOffice documents. It does rich text format. It does EPUB. I know people who've written ebooks using AbiWord. And if you want something more full-featured, OpenOffice, absolutely free Office suite. And all those are available for pretty much every operating system. So and it's not like, well, I don't want to have to go to Linux just to run AbiWord. Well, you can run it on Windows. You can run it on a Mac. You can run it on whatever you've got.
One of my first thoughts was, how many people even know WordPad is there? Notepad, maybe.
Right.
WordPad.
Right. That's the other part of it. Microsoft has never really pushed it.
Yeah.
Again, mainly because they don't want you using it. So it's going away, and those of you who loved it.
You triggered one of the special effects built into Ventura, or into Sonoma with your finger gesture a minute ago.
Which finger gesture was that?
Is it dual thumbs up? I forget which one it was, but a thumbs up jumped in front of the camera.
How did I do that? Through here?
Yeah, through my camera. Now I got to look up what those gestures are. Yeah.
Yeah.
There's,
Now we'll start doing
Yeah.
gestures.
There's thumbs up. There's fireworks effect. Usually we're hearing from people who don't know they're there, and how do I turn them off?
You're right. Before we get to the phones, we should mention that today is Public Radio Broadcasting Day. That's right. Today is Public Radio Broadcasting Day. And for those of you who have not become members of Jazz 90.1, or who would like to become extra members of Jazz 90.1, just head on over to jazz901.org and click the Donate Now button. It takes less than a couple of minutes. Is it working?
So that gives you balloons.
Balloons? Okay. I wonder if is that showing up on...
It pushed it to YouTube, yeah.
Oh, nice. All right, so here we are. It's Public Radio Broadcasting Day. So if you are interested in supporting public radio, today's the day to do it. In the meantime, while you're doing that, we'll talk to Rich from Arundecoit, New York. What's up, Rich?
Happy Saturday, gentlemen.
And the same to you. What's up?
Just a quick question. I'm not sure if I've asked this before or not, but you guys recommend going to Linux and so on and so forth. I personally use Chrome Flex a lot. Love it. My question, though, is what, in any of these operating systems, what do I have to be worried about for antivirus or any of that other kind of virus-type stuff?
Okay, let me preface this by saying there is no operating system that is absolutely immune to viruses. But virus is, of course, not the only problem. It's malware in general. So let me talk about malware. Linux is as prone to malware as anything else, but it is a much smaller target than anything else. They will go after servers big time, but home machines, there are so few of them that they don't spend a lot of time on them.
Okay.
Chrome OS Flex is essentially Chrome OS. So while you could accidentally, or by click, well, you do it on purpose. You click on a link you shouldn't. Get some sort of problem on your system. When you reboot, that problem goes away. So as long as if you've got, we've had this happen to me here. I was running my Chromebook one day and I got a giant thing that said your Windows system is infected. Click here. I just rebooted my machine and the problem, of course, went away.
Yeah, most of those threats these days are coming from malicious ads injected into websites, legitimate websites. We used to say, stay off the seedy dark alley websites and you're okay, but not anymore. We almost have to congratulate the first bad guy that realized he could buy an ad on a legitimate website too.
Right. So the bottom line is Linux. There are antivirus programs for Linux. ClamAV is very good. It works great on Linux, and it's fine. It's what I use myself. And as far as the Chrome OS Flex goes, it's as secure as Chrome OS itself. So in either case, I would be diligent but not worried.
So in other words, the antivirus protection is me, myself, and I.
That's the first tier, yeah.
Yeah, but the thing that is, though, I'm nowadays I'm more, I've got all three on my machine. I've got a virus protection, spyware protection, and adware. So, I'm covered because both super anti-spyware and malware bytes don't, each do their own thing. Viruses are still there. They're, but they're not as prevalent nowadays as people out there trying to steal your information. That's how they make money nowadays.
Mm-hmm. Right. And like I said,
but you need all three.
You need help, and ClamAV will give you that on Linux. Chrome OS needs less because you can't get into the operating system itself. Yep. But in terms of diligence, you need to be just as diligent on Windows, even with all the stuff Dave runs, as you do on Linux and Chrome and Mac.
Yep.
So there's no real difference in terms of your need to be diligent, but it's no worse on Linux or Chrome OS Flex than it is on Windows or Mac.
We had a customer tell us his company got hit with a malicious phishing attack a couple of days ago. And despite all the training they give in their company, 2 people clicked the links and followed them down to the end. And he said he found it especially ironic because when they do testing of malicious phishing attacks, no one clicks on the link. But the real phishing attack, they clicked on it.
Yeah.
So their tests aren't quite good enough yet.
Yep.
Okay, sounds good. I'm glad I asked the question. It gave me a very good answer and just a direction to go in to think every day about it a little bit.
Yep.
Yeah,
You got to be diligent. It in the end, no matter what operating system you use, no matter what additional software you run, it's on you.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately, it's become you can't believe any message that shows on your screen
Right.
because it could be a fake virus warning that claiming you have a virus. You call the phone number, they steal your money, steal your identity.
What I do is,
I have those tests at work, too.
Yeah.
whenever I
all
get
the time.
any one of those messages from anywhere, the first thing I do is self-test. So if I get a message on my machine that says you've got a virus, I go run ClamAV by hand.
Yeah.
What did it find? Oh, nothing. Okay, it's a fake message. I put a note on Facebook yesterday that 6 times yesterday I won something from Lowe's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. No.
I saw a good one. This one YouTube thing that I follow, they're called Scam Busters.
Yeah.
And this one lady had contacted him because she had just gotten off the phone with these guys and they got her for $9,000. So him and his team
Wow.
were able to call the place up and play him along. He got into their computer, downloaded all their stuff off their computers, because there was 2 of them, got it down, and then erased their machines. And he had them going for over 2.5 hours.
Nice.
Well, he's sitting there egging them on, He was into their machines. Him and his partner got in there, downloaded all this stuff, wiped it out. Luckily, the ladies, he was happy to report the lady's account never finally got hit
Nice.
for the $9,000.
The other
The danger. Well, the problem with that is that's technically illegal. You cannot break into anyone's computer, even if they're a bad guy. And so there's actually been problems with researchers trying to research viruses and come up with antivirus techniques.
I got fake messages all day yesterday from the post office. That a package was a problem, incorrect address, yada yada. Of course, the issue is I was expecting a package. So what I did is I logged on to when you have a package coming, you get a tracking notice.
Yeah.
I clicked on the link for the tracking notice, and it said my package was ready for delivery and it was coming to my house. So how could it be both? They couldn't deliver it, and it was in the truck to be delivered.
Yeah.
So I knew that the message was fake. But you got to do your due diligence. Never click on a link in one of those messages or whatever. Do your independent research before you click on the link. I get those all the time. You've overdrawn your bank. Either A, I don't have an account at that bank, or B, I log into my actual bank and look at my account.
Well, I had one issue. As you know, I love Revo Uninstaller.
Sure.
And I had the version that would download onto my computer. Well, I didn't realize it, and it was set for auto renew.
Oh, yeah.
So I called them up and I said, no, I don't want that. I says, I've already got a 2-year subscription to the version that goes on this jump drive. Oh, okay, no problem. We'll refund your money. It was only like $15.
You're right.
$15.98. Okay, thank you very much. Didn't I yesterday get 2 notices proclaiming that they were this company and I was going to be charged for the software again.
Yeah.
So I go to, I just go to my PayPal account. And, no, it's not. Delete. So
Yep.
I called them and let them know, thanks for resolving this for me. And oh no, we're glad that you got. And I told them how we even mentioned it here on the show. Said thank you very much. And I said, but you got some scammers out there that are trying to affect it. He goes, we'll have our team look into it. I said,
Nice.
thank you.
Wow. I know what you guys are talking about. I've gotten a couple from Norton that have looked like Norton renewals, but definitely are not.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep. Yep.
Like you guys say, looking at the URL and things like that, it definitely doesn't.
It's
look
better
like
to
it.
type it in yourself than to click on a link.
Yeah.
It doesn't take that much more time to just go to another page, type in Norton. It'll take it, show you the Norton website. And you can go to there and actually, or better yet, call somebody.
Yep.
Or get into my account.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. All right. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you. Stay out of the wind today so that you don't get blown away and
Yeah.
stuff like that. And happy weekend.
You too.
Thank
Thanks,
you.
Rich.
Take care.
Stay safe. Yeah, if you're driving a high-sided light vehicle like I do, it's an adventure.
Yeah.
It's an adventure out there today. I'll say that much for it. Yeah, one of the things you should do today before you do anything else, any place that you have a subscription, make sure you have bookmarked the legit page to that company. Also, bookmark the legit pages to your bank and wherever else you keep money, PayPal, Venmo, wherever. And then if you get one of these messages, don't click on the link, go to the bookmark you've saved and check it out there. Because like I said, even when I get a notice that purports to be from my real bank, I don't click on the link. I click on my bookmark
Yeah.
and check to see, is there a message from them? No. I'm now getting them from Social Security. Apparently they know I'm old. Fake ones from Social Security. Well, I log into Social Security or I log into Medicare or wherever it's from, and I look to see if there's a notice. No notice, it's fake.
When in doubt, like I say, most places you can pick up the phone and call, especially your bank.
Right.
Your bank will always, if they're open, pick up the phone and answer your questions.
And most banks have a 24-hour customer line anyway.
Right.
Just
Right.
If it happens to be outside of
Credit card
banking
gets misused or lost or stolen or whatever, they're there for you. And that's why, most folks still do carry a phone, and you can do more than just text on them and
What?
surf the internet.
What?
I know it's shocking.
When did that happen?
Way
Is that what
before-
that little icon with
way before your time?
the little icon with the tilted mouse?
And you
is?
don't have to sit there and worry about a dial tone.
Oh, also, by the way, I have to say that I've also gotten a bunch of emails from, purporting at least to be from pliant young ladies who want to be my friend.
Yep.
Clearly, those are real.
Yep.
Clearly. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Doug from Rochester, New York. What's up, Doug?
Okay, this is going to earn the station an extra $50 donation on top of my membership if you can solve this one.
Excellent.
Excellent. We've discussed this machine before. It's a MacBook Pro from 2012 running only Ubuntu, whatever the latest version is. And like a good citizen 2 days ago, when it said, I have an update for you, which said Ubuntu base and Chrome, naturally I let it go. And it said, got to reboot the machine. And rebooted it, and it gets to the splash screen with the rotating progress thing for a couple of seconds. That stops, and I'm left with only the static splash screen. So I thought I remembered this happening before, and fixed it with help from you guys. I immediately made a fresh USB startup stick
right.
based on instructions from the Ubuntu website. But I can't get this MacBook Pro to recognize it, and looking online for which key to hold down.
Option. Yeah, you hold on the option key to bring up the boot manager. to pick which drive to boot from.
Immediately
Yeah.
after I hit the.
Yep. Kind of even before the chime comes up, if you can.
Oh, we got it.
Ta-da!
Did I say $50?
You did.
Did I?
You
Yeah,
can,
yes,
you
you
can
did.
increase it.
It's here. It calls. Oh, there we go. EFI boot. Now, well, let's see if this actually works.
What's really annoying is that
Now, for $100, let's see if it really works.
Do you want to try for 100?
Well, now I have five choices: try or install, Ubuntu Safe Graphics, and then boot from next volume, UEFI firmware settings. What I want to do is access the files because, again, like a great citizen, I do backups 4 different ways.
Excellent.
Like three times a week.
Okay, so one of the choices, you have a couple of choices there. One should be to boot. One should be to boot in, it's something about safe mode, safe graphics, safe something, or boot to the command line. Any of those should bring you to either the command line or a very simple graphic interface and let you do whatever you need to do. Because what it sounds like is there was a graphics install problem.
Mm-hmm.
You should also, from the command line, be able to look at the boot log and see where it died, which would give you your next step as to what needs to be uninstalled or fixed or whatever.
Gotcha. And I don't see a boot to command line option here. It's just try or install or Ubuntu Safe Graphics. Oh, that could be it.
There you go.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, I'll take it from here, and if I'm in tears in an hour, I might call you back. But,
Not a problem. We're here until 2.
all right. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
in
Bye-bye. Oh.
in the normal Mac OS boot, Command V is a verbose boot where you see all the Unix messages going by, and that sometimes scares people when I do that. So, what's all that? Well, that's the operating system. Ah,
Yeah, exactly.
It's text.
Well, and Linux used to do that all the time.
Yeah,
And people had 2 reactions. Oh, my God, what's that?
yeah,
Or, I can't read that. It's going too fast.
yeah.
Well, it's not really designed to be read. It's also going into the boot log.
Yeah.
So you can go look at it in the boot log.
And it was designed, 50 years ago when the computers were slow enough that you could read it.
And I could. I used to be able to read it. I'd be oh, that's a problem. Oh,
Yep.
that's a problem. I could go back and fix those.
Yeah, we've had problems where the last thing the computer does is shut off. So we have to video the screen so that we can hit pause before it shuts off and see what the last error message was, because it won't stay on long enough to see the last error message.
Yep.
Windows would do that too. Sometimes the blue screen, when it dumps the log, it just immediately reboots. Well, no, I need to look at that log first.
Exactly. Yeah, and one thing that we really don't talk about enough, and the average person really doesn't want to have to deal with, is logs, and how to read them, and when to read them,
And when to turn them off.
and when to turn them off.
I had a customer with a 100 gig, 128 gig drive. At 40 gigs was the mail connection log.
Wow.
Why is my drive full? Somewhere along the way, you turned on connection logging to troubleshoot a mail problem, and you never turned it off.
Right. Right. This is something you should do. Get a set of Post-it notes, and anytime you make a change to your computer, write down what that change was so you can then undo that change and throw the note away.
Yep. Make one change at a time.
Make one change at a
You do
time.
3 changes and it fixes it. Which thing fixed it?
Right. And what do I do about the other 2?
Yeah.
So
We shouldn't give away all our tips. People won't think we're miracle workers. Laddie, you didn't tell them how long it'd really take, did you?
exactly. All right, we're going to take a quick break. We'll be back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, Steve Ray, me, Nick Francesco, and you. If you're on the line, stay on the line. If you're not on the line, why not? Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. It's 29 minutes after the hour. It's Soundbites. It's member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at soundbites.org. More with Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
NBC News Radio, I'm Dina Kodiak. The White House is defending U.S.-led military strikes against the Houthi rebels in Yemen. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said the Iranian-backed militants were targeted because of the continued attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea. Kirby said the U.S. does not seek a war with the Houthis, but that President Biden will not hesitate to take action to defend international commerce in the region. President Biden says he still has confidence in Lloyd Austin after the defense secretary did not tell the White House about his recent hospitalization. Austin was taken to a hospital on January 1st for complications arising from a prostate cancer surgery and was in the hospital for 3 days before notifying the White House. Winter storm conditions in Iowa are presenting serious challenges for Republican candidates 2 days before the state's first-in-the-nation caucuses. Former President Trump, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis were all forced to cancel campaign events on Friday. Dina Kodiak, NBC News Radio.
Do you love long, lazy strolls? Hate roller coasters? No match. Swipe left. This is Sandra Tsinglow with the Lowdown on Science. The bride dreams of skydiving through their vows, but the groom would rather stay on solid ground. Can this marriage survive? Ask Marta Sarah Garcia of UC San Diego. She analyzed 14 years' worth of survey data on over 5,000 couples. Data included things like education levels, religion, income, and previous marriages. It also assessed each partner's willingness to take risks in different areas of their lives. Examples: risky business like wrestling an alligator or co-signing on a car loan for a friend. Sarah Garcia then crunched this information to predict a couple's likelihood of divorce. Turns out, difference in risk tolerance was the best predictor. The most dissimilar couples had a 12% chance of divorce. Think about twice that of the most similar couples. But in marriages that lasted, the couple's attitudes toward risk-taking became more similar over time. Still, the biggest risk of all? Swiping right, if you dare.
The Lowdown on Science is produced by LDOS Media Lab in partnership with the University of California Irvine Science Communication and 89.3 KPCC, and made possible with the generous support of the Fuse Family Foundation.
It's Jazz with David Bassie. You know, as the first 100 years of recorded jazz began to come to a close, I decided I'd offer an in-depth overview. Join us, won't you, for Jazz with David Bassie, the depth and breadth of jazz, without getting up to change the record.
Jazz with David Bassie, Monday through Thursday mornings from 4 to 6 a.m., only on members-supported Jazz 90.1.
Wherever you are, Jazz 90.1 is there on the iHeartRadio app.
What if the music stopped? If the familiar voices were silenced? If there were no breaking news updates? What if your companion and connection to your community came with a monthly fee? Don't worry, we're free local radio with you wherever you go, celebrating 100 years and looking forward to the next 100. We are broadcasters. Text radio to 52886 and let Congress know you depend on your local TV and radio stations. This message furnished by the National Association of Broadcasters.
Imani wouldn't be here if it wasn't for St. Jude. Everything was perfect until that day when she was 5 weeks old.
So there was a fairly large and aggressive brain tumor, but St. Jude Children's Research Hospital gave us the ultimate gift in this world, which was hope restored.
And she's tumor-free now.
We came as two desperate parents, and they saved our daughter's life.
St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Finding cures. Saving children. Learn more at stjude.org.
Here's the latest Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
Look for shifting bands of lake snow across western New York and the Finger Lakes as we work our way into this Saturday. The wind is going to be more problematic for just about everyone, with frequent gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour, especially along the Rochester to Buffalo corridor Saturday afternoon and Saturday night. Temperatures for your Saturday will be falling through the 30s down into the low 20s by tonight, with several inches of snow in the most persistent snow bands. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And currently right now we've got cloudy skies. It's windy out there, 36 degrees out at the airport and 38 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, this is Phil Dodd. Please join me this afternoon from 1 to 4 on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 35 minutes after the hour, we are Sound Bytes. And for those of you watching us on the YouTube stream, we're having way too much fun with these little reaction things that can go on.
And I think that was a miscue there. It's saying Phil was going to be on from 1 to 4. He's not on at 1 o'clock.
I don't know.
That was the wrong
So,
day.
He clearly is not on 1 o'clock because we are.
So that's why I just want to get folks, what's going on, a little, not to be confused.
Well, Rob gets confused sometimes. I think we understand that.
He's a new parent. That'll happen.
He's a new parent. That absolutely will happen. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Fred from Rochester, New York. What's up, Fred?
Hey, happy day. It's a great day if you're running with the wind.
Exactly. Yeah. What's up?
A couple of things. I was tuning in, and the YouTube didn't come up right away, so I switched over to TuneIn, and I missed the announcement you were making about the donation for public radio.
Yeah, today is Public Radio Broadcasting Day.
Okay, so I can send that through
Jazz
WDMC.
Yeah, jazz901.org.
Okay, just the same donut button.
Yeah, it's the same donate button.
Okay. And one of the things I got to say is you guys have saved me a lot of money, so it doesn't hurt me a bit to give you a little extra.
Well, we appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, sir.
One of the things that you'd mentioned about bookmarks, another way that I do it is I have NPass.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I have the paid version of there, and it's got every
the way to do it. Yep.
Every way to do it. I can do it on a Chromebook, on a desktop, on a flash drive, on my phone.
Yep.
So I put all the URLs into the NPass, and a lot of them it does automatically.
Yeah,
so I put the URLs into NPass, and then as soon as I get a goofy message like that, I just open up NPass. It's already right there. I click on the link, and it sends me there.
Perfect.
So that's another way.
That's perfect, Fred. Thanks.
One of the things I discovered, I talked to you before about the P Cloud and the notices of a failed upload.
Right.
I found that P Cloud, I thought did it like at a certain set time a day, but it does it immediately after I take a picture. So generally, if I'm diligent about certain things, as soon as I take a picture, I rename it so I know what it is, not just a date and time.
Right.
And P Cloud is already trying to upload it. That's where the failed came. Or it's on the SD card in one location, and I'll put a picture relevant to. If it's relevant to work, I put it in a work folder. If it's relevant to just entertainment, it goes in a different place. And if I've transferred it after P Cloud has already initiated the update or the upload, that also causes a problem.
Right. So I pay attention when I'm running P Cloud. Usually on the status bar, there's a little cloud.
Right.
And you can see it change there's a circle in it when it's actually working. And I think it's a check mark when it's not. So I pay attention to that when I'm playing around.
Yeah, I had it on automatic upload. So I thought I could set the time of day that it would upload, which I would set it at some crazy hour.
Right.
And that I'm not doing anything. But it does it immediately. So as soon as I click a picture and it goes to the SD card, it is automatically starting to go. So the only other thing I can do is turn that off and then do it either manually or I'm not sure exactly how to do it automatically at a different time, but
there may be a setting called continuous backup, and so that's the feature that's on. It's doing a continuous backup.
At least the app on the phone doesn't have it.
Oh, so, yeah, that'll only be on the desktop version.
It's got options of everything or new. That's the two options. So I have to play around with that some more, but I did find that.
Let's see if there's a pause
But
button.
And listening to listening to the discussion today about the fraud thing, following your advice, you've saved me buku bucks, and everybody out there that's listening should realize that you are saving us money by giving us a heads up or things to look out for or options to avoid being scammed. The phone call things and the Norton things I get all the time, but it's usually NORTRON.
Yeah.
There's
also been a surge of fake McAfee messages too. And when you look at the message, you can see the weird characters they put in it to get by the spam checkers and the underlines and whatnot. And it seems to be fairly obvious it's fake, but enough people get tricked by it because they panic you. They want to panic you, get you not thinking, get you to call the phone number, click the link, and then you're screwed.
And when you're looking on a phone, it's a little tougher to see some of those characters.
Right.
They look similar. So I expand it, and I look and I go, that don't look right. So thanks, and I will be as soon as we get off the phone making that contribution to the.
Thank you, Fred. Thank you
We
so
appreciate
very
it, my
much.
friend.
Appreciate it.
All right, take care. Thanks.
Thank you. Have fun.
Okay, bye.
And we want to thank Fred and Doug for their generosity. Keeping this station on the air is important to us, and we hope it's important to you. And on Public Radio Broadcasting Day, why not?
Today is also National Rubber Ducky Day.
It is National Rubber Ducky Day.
Found a website called National Today that gives you all of the things happening today, and you can look up any date.
Rubber Ducky, you're the one.
It's also Cahelingen Day.
The who day?
Welsh New Year.
Oh, Welsh New Year.
Calaningig.
Are there vowels in it?
Too many. No.
Yeah.
Because I went to Hogmanay.
Yep.
Which is Scottish New Year. So
Right.
I know some Scottish people. We should go to Welsh New Year. It's National Catherine Day with a C and National Kathleen Day with a K. National Peach Melba Day. There we go. Have a dessert.
Peach Melba.
I think I dated her. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Doug from Canandaigua, New York. What's up, Doug?
I think it's Dave.
Okay, Dave. It could be Dave from Canandaigua. Well, why not?
That's what I wrote.
Yeah, whatever.
It is what you wrote. I read it wrong.
There's a
This
first.
one's on me.
Whoa!
This one's on me. Sorry, Dave. What's up?
Dave heard me wrong. Yeah, I'm taking a break from
No,
my Google.
Dave, I had it right.
Dave,
I got to get this because this doesn't happen very
Dave had it
often.
right. I screwed up. That was on me entirely.
We got to cut that out in that section, and I want that on the board.
As long as it wasn't me, I don't care.
Right.
Oh, I do though. Thank
Right.
you, Dave.
What's up,
All right.
Dave?
So I'm taking a break from my Google Workspace mysteries to inquire about my cell phone, my smartphone. I got a Casio or a Samsung S10.
I said, when did Casio make a smartphone? I want one of
Right.
those.
Yeah, right. And the whole thing has developed a bit of a curvature, and I was advised that the battery is starting to
warp.
I don't know, self-destruct or whatever.
Or do you keep it in your back pocket all the time?
No, I keep it. I set on a wireless charger when I'm not using it a lot, like most of the time. And the people at Verizon, they said that's what's causing it to deform.
Yeah.
So is it already too late? Am I doomed? Or if I fix this, it'll be okay. And then how do I find somebody that won't destroy my phone?
To fix it, you mean?
Yeah. Well, the fix is replace the battery.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm not perfectly familiar with the S10. I don't know if you can change the battery in it. If you can probably get a new one either from Verizon or online through Samsung. But most phones don't let you change the battery
very
anymore.
easily. There are fix-it guides online that you can try to follow. The big problem is that most phones are basically glued closed
Right.
to
Right.
help.
This one is.
Yeah, and that helps the waterproofing. And
I've
so the
also
first thing you have to
seen
do is
some-
unglue them.
I was to say, I've seen some fix-it shops
Yeah.
that are around at some of the various stores that you could do a Google search, and they fix damaged screens, replace batteries, and all that type of stuff, and they'd have the proper tools to take it apart and then reseal it so it is moisture proof.
Yeah, I did one myself on a cheap phone of a friend of mine, and I did everything right. It seemed okay, but just didn't work. So
That's the
I'm,
other
I'm
problem.
real nervous about doing it myself.
Yep. No, I get that.
Yeah, if you're used to tinkering inside of electronics and know how to use a soldering iron, you can probably replace them yourself.
Right. I got to say that going back a little bit, keeping your phone in your pocket, particularly if you're blessed with a well-endowed fundament, can over time impart a curve to your phone.
You're talking about big butt?
Big butts. That's,
I do put my wallet in my front pocket too.
yeah. But it will. Bending the battery is bad for it.
Yeah.
So over time, that would not be a good thing. In terms of keeping it on the charger all the time, that's also bad.
Yep.
The problem with these batteries is they work best between. Now you're going to get different people saying different things. Somewhere between 20 and 80%. Some people say 40 and 80, 20 and 60, 30 and 70, somewhere in that range. Lower than that or higher than that, you start developing what are called dendrites. And I'm not going to get into what those are, but the point is they lower the efficiency of the battery. And the more of them you get, the lower the efficiency of the battery, and they do not go away. So keeping your battery charged between, I personally do 30 and 80%. And there are apps you can download that tell you you're at 80%, stop. Newer phones and higher end phones often have a setting actually in the phone itself that says stop charging at 80%. But they generally don't have a lower end that says throw it on the charger
And
now.
some of the higher end phones, iPhones and some Android phones will do it automatically too.
Right. And some of the higher end phones, the S10 not a high end phone. So you can run a program, an app that runs in the background that says, okay, you've hit 80%, take it off the charger, or you've hit 30%, put it on the charger, and you can set what those percentages are. But where you're at right now is that if your phone is bent. Well, first, if your phone is bent enough, you can't put a new battery in it anyway. Because the battery will be straight.
Yeah, let's back up half a second. Is it bent or is it bulging?
Well, I gotta have to take the case off. It's a little.
Yeah.
Actually, it's bulging.
Yeah. So bulging is the battery swelling. So what happens is when those two dendrites meet, they cause a short circuit, and that boils the capacitance fluid,
right,
and generates CO2 gas, which then expands the battery and makes it swell. And eventually, the plastic housing of the battery fails because the pressure inside makes it swell so much. So a swollen battery is the beginning of a dangerous situation.
Right. So you need to fix that immediately, whether it's a new phone or changing the battery or whatever.
Stop charging it immediately is usually the first step, because you don't want to put any more energy into it to cause any more short circuits.
Right. And there are places in town that will replace a battery. I don't think they guarantee anything, but the bottom line is, if your case is bulging, that battery is dangerous, and you should do something with it very, very soon. So whether it's a new phone or it's a new battery, you need to do one or the other soon.
Start with the battery.
Yep.
Well, yeah. No, I get that, but I'm saying, you got to do something.
Right. I will. ASAP.
Good.
Okay. Thank you.
Thanks. Good luck.
In the model hobbies, really push lithium batteries because we charge them in 20 minutes. And so, I've got a 5,000 milliamp hour battery, which is about what you might have in your phone.
Right.
And I discharge it in 5 minutes.
Right.
Running a airplane at 100 watts.
And you discharge it down to 0.
Well,
Usually.
we try to go 3.7
close.
per cell. Yeah. And so we frequently have swollen battery issues.
Right.
And I remember one time a couple years ago, someone had a swollen battery, so they decided to breach it and see what happens. And we saw this huge cloud of white smoke coming up over in the pit areas. And the rest of us all go running over, and we're mad that he didn't wait for us. So you breach a
And happy that you weren't there quick enough to breathe any of that in.
Yeah. So you breach a lithium battery. There's a giant fire. There's huge clouds of smoke.
You can't put that magic.
Yeah, you can't put the magic smoke back in.
And not only that magic smoke is toxic.
Yeah.
Do not breathe it.
So never charge a lithium battery unattended, or never let a lithium battery charge unattended. With phones, you're charging it slowly and discharging it slowly, but we want to charge them faster and faster and faster now.
Right.
But there's always the possibility of a runaway thermal event when a lithium battery fails. We hear stories all the time from people who lost their garage because they were charging batteries in the garage and went into the kitchen.
The other thing you should probably do is when you charge your battery, when you take it off, feel how warm it is.
Yeah.
And if it starts getting significantly warmer when you take it off the charger, I mean it'll be warm.
Yeah.
It'll always be a little warm. But if it starts getting significantly warmer, you've got a problem.
Spectrum it was one of the big brand manufacturers. They actually have a smart battery with computer chips in them.
Right.
So you can read the charge and discharge cycles. You can read the current temperature. So you can get telemetry back to your radio. So while the plane is flying, you can read the current temperature of the battery and the current temperature of the speed controller. And there have been plenty of cases where planes have smoked in the air and crashed in the pre-computerized days. Now that we're seeing more and more radios have telemetry built in, you're getting those warnings back on your radio, and to cut the throttle and land as soon as you can.
Right.
Yeah.
And there are battery health check apps for your phone. AccuBattery and Battery Guru and blah 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 blah. I honestly don't know how good they all are. Batteries do have a limited lifespan, and the limit of that life has a lot to do with the charging regimen you use. So be careful of that. And again, a more expensive phone generally has better circuitry to manage that. More expensive chargers may have better circuitry to manage that.
Yep.
But no battery is immune. That it's just the nature of a battery. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Larry from Fairport, New York. Hi, Larry. What's up?
Oh, not much. Last week, I think it was last week, one of you guys was talking about ham radio and how they had a computer dedicated for their ham radio.
Yep.
So
That's Dave. He can't shut up about it.
Thank you.
And you and your Plex server now. And me and my airplanes. I guess we all have, yeah.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Larry. Sorry.
All I'm familiar with on ham radio is in the old days where you used to have to be out in the real Radio Shack, and you'd use Morse code and all that stuff. And I'm going, so what's ham radio in a short summary? What's ham radio like today?
Well, CW is just as popular. I do a number of.
You don't know what CW is, and Dave's not going to tell us.
It's a television
Morse code.
Television network with
continuous
teen
wave.
angst.
CW stands for continuous wave.
Okay.
And it's the old way back in the pioneer days, how they used to send messages was over a wire, and it was through Morse code. Everybody, even in the military, still uses Morse code a lot.
Right.
But no, it's expanded a lot. FT8 has taken off quite a bit. Of course, the big thing right now...
FTA, of course, stands for First Time Amateur.
it's a digital mode. It's a digital mode because there's what they call CW, digital modes, and then phone modes. So there's those three modes. They're all very popular.
Designed by Frankie and Taylor.
And
that's what the F&T is.
the other big thing, though, is POTA. POTA has taken off quite a bit. It's getting people out into parks and summits and everything else, and people are trying to just throw a wire up in the tree or up on a pole and make contacts. It's just getting out and being with the community. I love going up to, say, like a Rondequoit, and I'll set up there. And the number of folks that'll come by, and little kids that'll come by and say, "What are you doing?" And I'll tell them, and I'll go, "You want to try it?" And as long as they're, I'm supervising them, they can get on the air with me. And I had one little kid one time talk to my friend in Australia. And he goes, "The country Australia?" I go, "Yeah." And
so if you're going out for a ham license today, do you still need to know Morse code?
No, you don't have to.
Wow, that's what stopped a lot of people.
Yeah. No, they did away with the code a long time ago. And licensing. Matter of fact, I'm a VE for. There's a group here in Rochester, RARA, and it's Rochester Area Radio Association.
VE, of course, stands for very annoying.
Yeah, and thank you. And we test people every third Saturday at RIT. It's free.
Nice.
And people come in there, and matter of fact, we've had some people come in with no license and walk out with an extra. That's passing all three tests.
Wow.
Yeah, and I've had other folks, come in and at least pass the tech and the general, and they're happier than mud and go off and become part of the group and have a lot of fun. It's just talking to people all over the world.
I posted a link to the rochesterham.org website. Their Winter Fest is coming up Saturday the 17th.
Yep.
That's winter.
They still do the Ham Fest every year.
There's no Saturday the 17th.
February.
Do they?
Oh, okay.
Do they still collect QSL cards?
Oh yeah, I send out QSL cards to a lot of folks. I must have at least, I'd say, 3,000 to 4,000 of them that I've collected.
They've got a link. They've got a link on the front page on keeping Morse code alive.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's a big group in Chicago. Or no, I take that back. New York City, and it's the New York City CW club, and they set up courses to teach people CW and keep CW going.
There's ham radio set up on the International Space Station.
Yeah.
And
and
a lot of the astronauts are hams, and you can talk with them frequently.
And they set it up. They're big into the school programs.
Yeah.
That kids from various schools will set up a time that as the space station is passing over that school, the kids get to ask the astronauts questions.
Nice.
Yeah.
Interesting. All right. Well, good.
Yeah.
Good. I did hear about the computer thing, and I thought, oh my gosh, if it's just computer to computer talk, and okay, that's not that exciting. But it sounds like there's all kinds of stuff now.
Yeah, there is. I mean, there's one that is computer to computer, but it's a program called JS Call. It's a digital mode, but you've literally got to type. You've got to type your answers and questions and back and forth, and there's actual dialogue. You might not be doing it over voice, but the thing of it is you're doing it, and you can do it over like 5 watts.
Wow.
Very tiny amount of power.
Yeah, very little power. You can be talking halfway around the world because right now we're headed up the top of the what they call the sun cycle, and that's coming up.
There's also a device you can buy for under $50 to attach to your computer that lets you listen to any
an SDR.
And yes, and that takes no license because you're only listening, not talking. Listen, we gotta go.
Thank you, guys.
This is the only way to shut Dave up. We're gonna take. Well, that's it. The first hour of this show is done. It's in the books. But do not despair. There's a whole nother hour of sound bites coming your way. A whole nother hour of Mr. Ham Radio. A whole nother hour of Mr. Rocket, Mr. Plane. A whole nother hour of whatever it is that I talk about. and a whole nother hour of you. Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. And we'll be back with Soundbites. Listen, take a quick break. Actually a slightly longer break. Make it a bio break, but come back again, and we'll see you in just a few minutes on Soundbites on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
It's America's longest-running computer show. Back to more Soundbites with Nick, Dave, and Steve. Next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
WGMC Greece Rochester. A public service of the Greece Central School District. Jazz 90.1.
Celebrating 50 years on the air in Rochester.
NBC News Radio, I'm Dina Kodiak. The White House is defending U.S.-led military strikes against the Houthi rebels in Yemen. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said the Iranian-backed militants were targeted because of the continued attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea. Kirby said the U.S. does not seek a war with the Houthis, but that President Biden will not hesitate to take action to defend international commerce in the region. President Biden says he still has confidence in Lloyd Austin after the defense secretary did not tell the White House about his recent hospitalization. Austin was taken to a hospital on January 1st for complications arising from a prostate cancer surgery and was in the hospital for 3 days before notifying the White House. Winter storm conditions in Iowa are presenting serious challenges for Republican candidates 2 days before the state's first-in-the-nation caucuses. Former President Trump, former UN Ambassador Nikki Haley, and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis were all forced to cancel campaign events on Friday. Dina Kodiak, NBC News Radio.
Jazz 90.1 and Greece Baptist Church are pleased to again present free community jazz and big band concerts. Performances will take place at Greece Baptist Church in their sanctuary located at 1230 Long Pond Road, beginning at 7 o'clock. We hope to see you for another season of free community concerts.
The next concert features the Brockport Big Band, Thursday, January 18th at 7 p.m. For more information, visit jazz901.org.
The musical colorations of Toshiko Akiyoshi introduces pianist, composer, arranger, and co-leader Toshiko with husband Lou Tabakan as guests within the essence of jazz. The Akiyoshi Tabakan Band is one of the most musically advanced ensembles anywhere in the world. Toshiko does all of the writing, utilizing instrumental colorations and the personalities of the players.
I kind of utilized what musician has and they play. And now that seems to establish the sounds of the band. So our woodwind section is kind of pretty unique. And so now, although we have a new member, still that tradition was established.
This is Will Moyle. Join Toshiko Akiyoshi and Lou Tabakan as they join us for music and conversations during the Essence of Jazz.
The Essence of Jazz with Will Moyle, Saturday nights at 6, only on members-supported Jazz 90.1.
Here's another I Love New York travel tip.
Every winter, New York State turns into one big indoor and outdoor wonderland, with both exciting on-the-snow adventures and fun and educational indoor experiences for the whole family. For outdoor thrills, head to the mountains for great skiing and snowboarding. With more than 50 ski centers spanning the state, there's a ski area just a short drive away, from Kissing Bridge in the greater Niagara region to Gore Mountain in the Adirondacks. Off the snow, wind down by relaxing in an indoor pool at a hotel, spa, or water park, such as the Cartwright Resort and Indoor Water Park in the Catskills. For more ideas on indoor and outdoor winter fun in New York State, visit the I Love New York website at iloveny.com or dial 1-800-CALLNYS. That's 1-800-CALL-New York State. It's easy to love New York.
Did you know that heart transplants don't last a lifetime and the average is 17 years? 1 in 4 children face a chance of needing another within 5 years. Enduring Hearts is the only nonprofit dedicated to funding research that helps kids with heart transplants live longer, healthier lives. Enduring Hearts has funded research from the leading institutions across North America, and we will not give up. Please join our mission to save lives and consider donating today. Visit enduringhearts.org.
Did you know that when you make time to talk, read, or sing with your child, you're helping to shape and strengthen their brains for the years to come? As a father, helping my child thrive is the most important thing to me. Each of us has the power to create a strong start for our children and to help them enter school ready to learn and succeed in life, starting from the day they are born. Visit talkingisteaching.org for free tips, resources, and ideas on how to transform everyday moments into magical moments for learning.
I'm Jennifer, a retired veteran. Money's tight, but I shop right by planning my meals ahead of time. When making a shopping list, I check for ingredients I already have along with their expiration dates. I save money by buying only what I need and sticking to my list. Learn how you can shop right when money's tight. Visit snapedny.org. Save time, save money, eat healthy.
SNAP-Ed is funded by USDA Supplemental Nutrition Assistance Program, or SNAP. This institution is an equal opportunity provider.
Welcome back to America's longest-running computer show, Soundbites, on member-supported Jazz 90.1. Get online now. Call 966-JAZZ. That's 966-5299. Toll-free 800-790-0415. Or submit your question by email at soundbites.org. Once again, here's Nick Francesco, Dave Enright, and Steve Ray on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And it's 6 minutes after the hour. We are Soundbites. I want to respond to Fred in the chat. Thank you for your donation. And yes, we're going to Dave a little hard today, and that's okay. He likes it. Dave is that way. Get over it.
Yeah, I'm 75. Old tough skin.
Old tough skin. The rest of them not so good looking either. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Brian from Pavilion, New York. Hiya, Brian. What's up?
Gentlemen.
No.
Who walked in?
Came in? Yeah.
That never gets old, I'm sorry. You might think it is, but it doesn't really get old. Greetings from the gateway to the southern tier.
Yep.
It is starting to rock and roll up here, I don't mind telling you.
I bet.
We used to stop at Red and Trudy's for loose meat hamburgers all the time on the way to Grandma's house.
Yep.
Beautiful, beautiful. I can see you guys rockets from my house sometimes when you guys are firing off down at the airport.
Oh, cool.
Nice.
Yeah, it's kind of cool. It's kind of neat. Once in a while you catch a glimpse. But anyway, was going to bounce this off you guys. Linux Mint.
Yeah.
Old, ancient machine. All things being equal, the machine's running very well, and it works really good. I'm a dumpster diver, so my stuff is junk. I've noticed YouTube has gotten very slow and notchy. You guys noticed anything like that lately?
No. Not. Oh, okay. Yes and no. It depends on what video card you're using. If you're using an NVIDIA card, it behooves you once in a while to reboot your machine. There's a slow, very slow memory leak in the NVIDIA driver.
Oh, I've actually noticed that too. Well, I'm running, believe it or not, don't have a heart attack and die. I'm running a Think Center, a Lenovo Think Center that's probably it's got to be 20 years old.
Yeah.
And I'm happy about it. I'm proud of it.
You should be.
Darn it. I'm proud of that, darn it.
You should be, doggone it. But once in a while, I would suggest that you just simply reboot the machine. Because
I did. It didn't really seem to help me out that much. And I do have another app that I won't tell you who it is, but another app, very popular website that I actually interfaced with their developers a little bit back and forth. I did some IT back in the day, and I said, well, this thing's just eating memory. It's not releasing memory, and maybe it's on my end. So.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it's NVIDIA. They've just never. Well, no, I won't say they've never fixed it. You're probably running a fairly old version of the operating system, and that also it's exacerbated.
How old is the machine,
farther
too?
Back you get. The machine itself is 20 years old.
Yeah, it's ancient. Oh, yeah, it's made of wood, and you have to crank it.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Got a little hand crank on the front.
Yeah, just put a couple more slabs of wood on.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's one of those paper batteries you used to get, those old radios with the tubes in them. You take to the beach, they last like 20 seconds.
Oh, yeah, I remember those. But yeah, try rebooting more regularly. That will help a little bit. A newer version of Mint will help if you can run it.
Yeah, I might try doing that. I was actually going to make the jump to Ubuntu. Like cut my teeth on Mint, and then been getting a lot of maybe jump versions and see if I was to do that. Can I keep all the stuff I got stored on there, or is it going to wipe the machine?
It depends. Well, how many hard drives you have?
Oh man, I'm a dumpster diver. I got a catalog on probably a closet full.
Here's the thing. My suggestion would be to install it fresh on a new drive.
Gotcha.
And then hook the old drive up and copy stuff over. Now you've got a backup. You got one more backup. And you've got a clean install, which is always better.
Well, that makes perfect sense. Why did I call this show? I could have done that myself.
Because you just didn't have much else to do on a Saturday afternoon, and here we are.
Yeah, it's crappy outside, and you'd rather stay in where it's warm.
It's a very, very rare Saturday off for me. So it's like,
enjoy it.
I've been meaning to call you guys and kind of listen every week on the radio. Believe it or not, the radio is one of those big plastic boxes with knobs on it, and then I listen every week, and I want to tell you, I'm again not too proud to tell you, I'm not a member right now, but as soon as I can, I will join back up. I've supported you guys for years.
That's all we ask. We get it. Believe me, we
understand.
Get it. So thank you, Brian.
And I will when I'm able. But
Thank you.
But I'm not too proud to admit that. Hey,
Yeah.
But thank you guys, and thanks for another great year.
Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. Keep smiling.
You got it, man.
Stay warm.
Makes people wonder what you're up to.
Yep.
The last actual physical radio in my house is just about dead. I had a clock radio on my bedstand for years. It's got a 30-pin dock on it. So
wow.
That's how old it is. None of the set buttons work.
Yeah.
So I can only plug it in at noon on December 31st.
Right.
To have the date and time work right. So I did that last 6 months. It was so I plugged it in. We lost power the other day in the storm. So now the clock is wrong again. The radio still works, but I can't set the date and time on it, and I'm so mad.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it.
But
what, the buttons don't?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can you take it out and try to? Because it might just be.
I took the cover off the button because it's
and
the
sometimes
soft button to the hard button. It's got a remote that still works, and that lets me change the radio station and change the volume.
But it doesn't let you.
Set the date and time.
Yeah.
So now, do I put it back under the shelf for another year?
Yeah, right.
It's just a stupid clock radio. I've got 27 clocks in my house.
You've got gaffer's tape.
Yeah.
Stick a piece over the time and date.
Yep. Well, it does have a button to dim the screen so it doesn't blind you at night.
There you go. So does that one work?
But I've got my phone, I've got my watch, I've got my iPad. They all have clocks on them. In fact, Apple just added a new standby mode. So when you set your phone sideways, it turns into date and time stand. Right. I don't need this, but it's like 20 years old. I've grown sentimental to it for some stupid reason.
I have to read this because it has to do with one of the callers we had earlier. About the phone, Dave from Canandaigua. One of the last Pixel announcements of 2023 was the launch of a diagnostic app and repair manuals.
Ooh.
This week, Google endorsed the proposed right to repair bill in Oregon and published a white paper explaining its position with the Pixel as an example. The Google and Repairability white paper suggests core principles that lawmakers should keep in mind when writing regulations. Amusingly, there is a reference to Project Ara, Google's modular smartphone investigation, which I loved the idea of that. It was you bought pieces to a cell phone and put it together yourself. So if you wanted a phone with no camera, you just don't buy the camera. If you want a phone with 3 cameras, you buy 3 cameras. The top guideline is how user safety should be a top priority. Instead of requiring OEMs to make available individual components, Google wants to offer parts assemblies. For the Pixel 8 Pro, there's a rear-facing camera assembly and rear case assembly. That's $173 back. That $173 back consists of several parts that are joined together out of the box for a more straightforward install process, though this does increase the price. Meanwhile, Google comes out against unfair anti-repair practices like parts pairing and already offers a fingerprint calibration tool. The company is also against being required to provide any password security codes or materials to override security features on devices and points to its repair mode. Google says the Oregon proposal offers a compelling model for other states to follow and that it would prefer standardized regulations on a country level over piecemeal approaches. Ultimately, Google says the ability to repair a phone, for example, empowers people by saving money on devices while creating less waste. What do you think of Google's stance on repairability? Give us a call, 585-966-JAZZ. It's 966-5299. Toll free 800-790-0415. I love the idea of a repairable phone. Again, as we said, so many of them are not anymore
Disposable,
repairable.
yeah.
And that, I get it. If the choice between repair and buy a new one is left to the user will almost always repair, but the company would prefer you buy a new one. I get that. But, I think we have the right to decide whether
Make
we're
a
going to throw it
decision on
away.
your own.
Right.
Apple has opened up their self-service repair program as well as an independent repair program, which is separate from the authorized service provider repair program that I'm part of. I guess there's different tiers on how. So I can do warranty service as a authorized service center.
Right.
The independent places, I don't know if they can do warranty, but they can do out of warranty.
Right, and that's an important point.
Yeah.
For somebody like Dave, who had a Samsung S10, which I'm sure is out of warranty by this point, who cares?
This 25 is out now.
Right. Do what you want to do.
Yeah.
But if it's a phone that's in warranty, you take it to a place that does warranty repairs. That just particularly when you've paid $1,000 or more for your phone, you want an in warranty repair. That makes sense to me. But
although we have had people bring their stuff into us under warranty that they got a non-warranty person to look at it first and paid them. I said, "Why'd you do that? It's under warranty." Well, they're closer to me. It's under warranty. It would have been free.
Right.
And now that they messed it up,
it's no longer under warranty.
Yeah. And we've had several people who've tried to do their own repairs and broken something. We had one guy that instead of disconnecting the cable, ripped it off the motherboard.
Perfect.
So now he destroyed both halves.
Right.
And all right, now you've got $1,000 repair.
Right. Easy.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Richard from Rochester, New York. What's up, Richard?
Yes, I recently had to change ISPs. I have been with Frontier for 25 years, and I moved. I've been on the optical line, and I moved to a location that they didn't serve, and went to Spectrum. And I kept my email address, which is a Frontier Mail email, and I can't send out. I can receive emails, but I can't send them out on Thunderbird. I've used Thunderbird for years, and I get an error message saying that the mail server responded, client host rejected, access denied. So I called up Spectrum, and they sent a guy right over, which really impressed me.
Yep.
And first they had attempted to do it from remotely, and said it was something in the I can't remember if it was the modem or it must have been in the modem. So anyway, this guy spent like a couple of hours here and got another guy over, which I've never had service like that from Frontier. They would take like 2 months to show up. And they finally decided or concluded and backed it up with research on the internet that Frontier was just not allowing emails to be sent that had come through the Spectrum server.
Generally, that's true of any mail service. You can only send a Spectrum mail if you're connected to Spectrum. You can only send Frontier mail if you're connected to Frontier. You need to set up your SMTP sending server with authentication, username, password, and encryption type.
Right.
Mm-hmm. But if now, can I wanted to retain my email address. I've had it for over 25 years, and it's a frontiernet.net email. Can I still do that?
One thing I might look into is forwarding. I don't know if you can do that now that you've already changed providers, but you might call Frontier and ask about forwarding. So your mail would come into Frontier and be forwarded to Spectrum, from which you can...
And to add to the complication, Frontier uses Yahoo as their back end. So Yahoo is where you do all your mail logins. So if you change your sending server to the Yahoo server
Well, maybe that'll work.
and use your Frontier username and password, that should work.
Okay, I'm going to write this down. So if I send, okay, so I just change.
The sending server. So every mail has two halves: the receiving server, which is typically IMAP, and the sending server, which is typically SMTP.
Right. So I change it to Yahoo.
Right. SMTP. I'll post a link too, but it's smtp.mail.yahoo.com, and it requires SSL and it requires authentication. So you would use your Frontier username and password, which then authenticates you as a legitimate sender, and it will accept your mail to be sent. It's all part of the anti-spam process, that you can't commandeer somebody's email address and send email unless you are a customer of that service.
Right. Okay. Because I also do have a Yahoo email address. That's the first one I got when I was just working at the library.
Right.
And that goes out just fine.
Right. Yeah. And so you should also be able to change your sending and your receiving addresses at Yahoo, actually.
Yeah, you could receive it directly from Yahoo as well, imap.mail.yahoo.com, rather than receiving from Frontier.
Right. So if you copy
is there any advantage to that? Because I'm able to receive just fine.
Well, you can continue to do that, or you can skip Frontier as the middleman.
Yeah, theoretically, you'll get the mail of half a second sooner.
Right. Well,
literally.
At least we don't know what Frontier's doing on any given day. But, what's happening now is your mail comes into Yahoo, goes to Frontier, and then gets sent to you.
Right.
You can get it direct from Yahoo and cut out Frontier as the middleman altogether.
Okay.
And we think that's why they let you keep your address, because most other ISPs, as soon as you cancel, your email address is gone.
You're right.
That happened to me when I canceled Spectrum and wasn't expecting it. I was ready for it, but my wife wasn't.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Having to start a new email would be just...
It's worse than physically moving, because at least there's only one post office you could submit a change of address to.
Right.
Well, I don't know. I just physically moved a woodworking shop. That's why this happened. Nothing's worse than that. But anyway, okay. So it sounds straightforward. If I get bogged down, I'll call you back.
Perfect. Thanks.
Thank you so much.
And the other thing is, we should remind everybody that life is so much easier if you have a third-party email address.
Right. Either Google or Apple.
Or Yahoo, or I would prefer not.
Right.
I would prefer
Personally,
Google
don't like
or Apple.
Yahoo because they lost all 3 billion of their customer accounts a couple of years ago.
Yeah,
and
right.
Didn't tell anybody for a long time.
But the point is, if you use a non-ISP address, like Gmail or Apple or any one of those, and all of those are free. You don't have to be an Apple user to have an Apple address. Using one of those services means that you will not have to worry about moving, or your ISP changes in some way, any of that stuff.
And their spam filters are significantly better than any of the other services.
People call me all the time, I got this spam. I think to myself, I don't get spam, rarely. I mean, I get it, like now there's a new one, that new one with, all this stuff. But I check my spam filters every day, my spam folders every day, just to make sure nothing important got through. And I see massive amounts of spam in my Gmail accounts. And I see all that spam in my non-Gmail accounts. Mm-hmm. It's a real interesting issue, actually. There's also, by the way, we should talk a little bit about the fact that there's a new solid-state battery design that's been created from Harvard School of Engineering.
Yeah, solid capacitance instead of liquid capacitance.
Right. It's a solid-state battery. It uses lithium. And they say it can be charged and discharged at least 6,000 times, which is far more than any normal battery. It's 10 times any normal battery. And it can be recharged in a matter of minutes.
Instead of hours.
So, and that's, I'm sure it's cell phone sizes, not, like car sizes.
The key thing, though, is life of the battery? How long?
Well, this is still in test.
10
It's still in development.
Up to 10,000 cycles.
Right, and they're talking 10,000 cycles, which again is twice what.
10 times
No, I'm
more.
just wondering
Most
how long
batteries
if
are about
I
1,000.
charge.
Yeah.
My biggest concern always, and I've said this for quite a few years, is if they just make the battery a little bit bigger to make it last longer, because more and more folks spend so much time on their phones, whether they're watching movies or watching TikToks or doing this or doing that, and they run out of battery life.
Yep.
That's always the biggest thing for most phones nowadays.
I saw a news report on these a while ago when they were just early in the testing phase, and it was kind of funny because they had a I think a tablet running from a solid state battery, and to show how safe it was, they took a pair of scissors and cut a piece of the battery off.
Yep.
And then the tablet just said, "Oh, I've got 98 minutes remaining." They cut another piece of the battery off. Oh, I got 95 minutes remaining. They cut another. So, like we were mentioning earlier, you puncture a lithium battery, it explodes in a real nice bright fireball. No, the solid, because it's a solid capacitance, it doesn't do that.
Right, we were talking about dendrites earlier. This new
Yep.
solid-state battery doesn't do dendrites.
Yep.
So, to be able to recharge a battery 6,000 times instead of 500 times, and to charge it in minutes instead of hours.
Because that's the biggest thing that dies on the phone right now is the battery.
That's right.
Yep.
I've got a couple of old cell phones that have replaceable batteries. If I could find a battery for them, I could use them today.
Well, my last Pixel phone, the only reason I got rid of it is because it wouldn't hold a charge.
Right.
I charged it all up, and by noon, it was already down to 30%, and I hadn't done much with it.
Yep. Whereas if you could, and that's, they get an average of like 500 charges.
Yep.
And almost every phone now, you can go somewhere in the settings and look at battery health and see how many cycles it's gone through, maybe 100, maybe 200. Well, that's half your life.
Yeah.
250 cycles is half the life of the battery.
Yeah. And most people end up charging their device every day.
Every day. So, being able to charge it 6,000 times as opposed to 500 times. Yeah,
that's hefty.
It's a hefty change, and
See, that's why you buy a new phone every 3 years, and then the bad battery is the next person's problem.
Right, that's exactly correct. That is
Well, that's why the
exactly
manufacturers, like we said before, like that, because they don't make money on repairs. They make money on selling new phones.
Right, and that's why you want to run one of those battery check programs we talked about that says, okay, you've hit 80%,
battery
take
health.
it off the charger.
Yep.
You've hit 20%, better charge it up. Those are useful. It helps maintain the health of your battery, and you really should be paying attention to that. I'd love to see these lithium solid state batteries be more useful. Again, this is experimental at this point. So don't go looking for the solid state lithium battery. You're not going to find it, but they're working on those, and we would love to see those in the future. Something that lasts for 6,000 cycles. Probably not going to make the manufacturers happy.
Yeah.
The phone manufacturers happy because it means you'll keep your phone longer. Apple now is a phone company, and part of that is because people replace their phones every time a new model comes out. They'll still do that because it's not about the life of the battery. It's about, I don't have the coolest phone at the moment. But, every company wants you to buy the new and not the old. So I get that. I do.
And so the other problem now is, where do we get our lithium from?
Right. That's a separate issue.
Yeah.
But there are people like Brian in Pavilion. He's got a 20-year-old machine. I think it was Brian with a 20-year-old machine. Not everybody does that, and there are devices you can't do that with. Nobody's got a 20-year-old cell phone.
Australia is now the largest lithium producer with 50% of all lithium.
Yep.
China is China's next with 25% more.
Nice. All right. We're going to take a quick break, but we will be back in just a couple of minutes with Dave Enright, with Steve Ray, with me, Nick Francesco, and with you. It is 29 minutes after the hour You're listening to the longest-running computer show in the known universe. That must mean you're listening to Sound Bytes, right here on the Truly Great, and truly grateful to you that we continue with your generous support to be member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Computer talk you can understand. More Sound Bites is next on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
NBC News Radio, I'm Dina Kodiak. A major winter storm is causing travel issues for many Americans again today. Over 1,000 flights have been canceled as of this morning, according to FlightAware. More than 2,100 were delayed. Dangerously cold wind, freezing rain, and heavy snow is impacting much of the U.S. this weekend. It's likely to continue into next week. This year's Iowa caucuses may be the coldest on record. Caucus goers are expected to face frigid wind chills in the negative 20s as they head to and from their local precincts on Monday. Extreme weather conditions are also presenting challenges for Republican candidates scrambling to make their final pitches just days before the caucuses. The White House is defending U.S.-led military strikes against the Houthi rebels in Yemen. National Security Council spokesman John Kirby said the Iranian-backed militants were targeted because of the continued attacks on commercial shipping in the Red Sea. Kirby said the U.S. does not seek a war with the Houthis, but that President Biden will not hesitate to take action to defend international commerce in the region. Dina Kodiak, NBC News Radio.
Most gardeners suffer zone envy. We want to grow plants that are not suited to our region's growing conditions. When we do push the limits, we may be forced to bring some of these less-than-hardy plants indoors for winter. Hi, I'm Melinda Myers, horticulturist and gardening expert. Grow these plants in a cool, bright location. Most thrive in daytime temperatures of 65 to 70 degrees, with the night temperatures about 10 degrees cooler. Supplement natural light with artificial light as needed. Spots and vertical light bars help light reach all parts of the plant. Set plants on a saucer filled with pebbles. This elevates the plant above any excess water that collects in the saucer. As it evaporates, it increases the humidity around the plant. Water thoroughly and often enough to keep the soil slightly damp, not soggy wet. Mist leaves occasionally to remove dust and reduce the risk of aphids and mites. Check out our website for this and other gardening tips. Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by Summit Responsible Solutions, a manufacturer of organic, all-natural insect pest control products, including Summit Sticky Traps. Sticky traps can be used to manage pests on indoor plants and do not contain pesticides. Sticky traps are available at local and national garden centers and hardware stores. Information on how to control insect pests can be found at summitresponsibleSolutions.com.
Jazz 90.1 is supported in part by our members and by the Great Courses How to Grow Anything DVD series hosted by Melinda Myers. The Great Courses How to Grow Anything series consists of 4 DVD courses that provide gardening tips and information on food gardening, landscape design and care, container gardening, flower, tree, and shrub care, and more. More information is available at melindamyers.com. That's melindamyers.com.
Are you thinking of adding a pet to your family? Greece Residents Assisting Stray Pets, or GRASP, is committed to reducing the number of homeless pets by placing dogs and cats into compatible, loving, permanent homes. For more information on how you can give a homeless pet a second chance through adoption, visit graspinc.org. GRASP, striving for the day when every dog and cat will live in a loving, safe, and healthy home.
And now, a check of your Jazz 90.1 weather forecast.
Look for shifting bands of lake snow across western New York and the Finger Lakes as we work our way into this Saturday. The wind is going to be more problematic for just about everyone, with frequent gusts of 50 to 60 miles per hour, especially along the Rochester to Buffalo corridor Saturday afternoon and Saturday night. Temperatures for your Saturday will be falling through the 30s down into the low 20s by tonight, with several inches of snow in the most persistent snow bands. I'm meteorologist Josh Nichols for Jazz 90.1.
And currently right now, it's windy and cold out there, 36 degrees out at the airport and 37 here at member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Hi, this is Jeff Harris. Join me tonight from 5 to 7 on member-supported Jazz 90.1.
Welcome back, everybody. I'm Nick Francesco.
I'm Dave Enright.
And I'm Steve Ray.
And at 34 minutes after the hour, we are Sound Bytes. For those of you who are members of Ask Nick, I apologize for Wednesday night. Normally we have our lounge chat on Wednesday night. I lost power. I lost internet. Excuse me. I lost internet.
It happens once in a while.
It happens once in a while, and then by the time I came back, it was like 9:45, and I thought,
yeah, no.
There's no point in that. But you can always, assuming I have both power and internet, you can join. And that may not be true tomorrow. I think we know that. But if I do have it, you can join us in the Soundbites Lounge at 9 o'clock Eastern Time. Like I say on our webpage, it's most Sundays at 9. So you can join us there, and all you have to do is head on over to soundbites.org, click on the Soundbites Lounge link under some important links. And if you do that at 9 o'clock, you should see the link there. And if you don't, Control-Shift-R. We've been having an interesting issue with my internet service provider. There's an issue with the cache. There's almost every computer, almost every internet service provider has a cache of their systems so that you don't necessarily have to go to the hard drive to get the latest version of something. It will have a cache in memory of the latest thing. It's faster for the user and less wear and tear on the system. Back in the day when they were spinning hard drives, and there's some sort of issue with their cache. It's not always refreshing correctly. So if you have that problem, Control-Shift-R or Command-Shift-R, I think it is on a Mac, gives you says ignore every cache and get the clean version.
Force reload.
Force reload.
There's usually a reload page, but now there's force reload, or Safari calls it reload page from origin.
There you go. Same
Where else
idea.
would you reload it from? Cache.
Right, right. So if you're having an issue, that's what it is, and it's nothing I can fix, so I'm not fixing it. So that's true, by the way, of both the Ask Nick Lounge page and the Soundbites Lounge page. But you can join us at 9 o'clock. It's a video chat. You are not required to turn on your camera. You are also not required to turn on your microphone. But if you would like to do either or both, you are welcome to do so. We meet for the Soundbites one. You have to be a member of Ask Nick to join the Ask Nick chat. But if you're if you're just listening to Soundbites, you can join by just going to Soundbites and clicking on the Soundbites Lounge link under some important links every Sunday at 9 p.m.
There's something weird going on with the National Time Servers. We've got two.
That's true too. Yes.
We've got two clients. You know how you set your computer to automatically set the date and time? We've got two customers where it's setting it to the wrong date and time.
How weird.
Yeah.
Have you changed time servers?
Yep. And I go to the command line and type the command to retrieve the time from the server, and it's wrong.
What you can do, there's a spot.
So we've turned off automatic checking, but then every time you turn the computer off, the time zeros.
Right.
And so most people don't realize there's anything wrong with their clock because every time you turn it on again,
Are they in the wrong time zone or?
We've checked all that. No, it
run
one which was weird, but now a second one is having the same problem.
Steve, you can run a small program. It's called Time Sync.
No, this is it. It's the time synchronizer is built into the OS.
Yeah,
it's
but
getting the wrong answer from the National Time Server.
But this is an actual utility that I run on mine because with the ham radio.
No, I understand that. But if you're getting the wrong time from the server, there's no other syncing.
Yeah,
he's getting the wrong time from the server. It's not on his machine; it's the server.
Because I haven't had that issue.
Yeah.
Because like with me, when I'm doing that digital mode I told you, we cannot be more than 2 seconds, 0.02 seconds
2 milliseconds.
off. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And it's weird because it doesn't happen to every computer, which it should. If it's the problems at the other end, it should be every computer.
Yeah.
If it's at this end, it's something in that computer. But I do the command line to query the time server, and the answer comes back wrong.
That's so weird.
Yeah.
That is so weird.
Yeah.
And we're so I'm Googling around for it, and the answer is yes. Sometimes that happens. No one knows why. Turn off automatic time setting. And then don't turn your computer off.
Oh, that's good to know. Thanks.
Yeah.
That was a caller saying that he was listening to us and lost the signal.
Which one? The radio signal?
I don't know. He didn't say.
YouTube is still working.
We got so many of them that we broadcast to.
Well, right.
Facebook is still working.
Oh, I can still
Could
do
be at
this.
his end. You know, I mean, with the storm coming through right now.
Well, that's the big thing. You know,
Yeah.
if you're listening over the internet or you're listening
Yeah,
over
and
the radio or, where
just
are you?
because, we're here in Rochester, folks, the connection could, depending on the computer system, be routed to Buffalo and then who knows where else where storms are going on. It doesn't just go right from us to you. It could be bounced all over the U.S. And that's where a lot of folks...
That I work with Mastermind Lounge, and that's how we do our lounge stuff, Saturdays and Wednesdays. And I answer this question from people pretty regularly. We don't control your internet service provider.
Yeah.
If your service is slow, or you've got a bad connection, or your connection drops, there's nothing we can do about that. And I'm sorry.
It is what it is.
But there's nothing we can do about that. That's your ISP. Talk to them.
Mm-hmm.
It's an issue that a lot of people have. Intermittently, nobody has it all the time. But every once in a while, your ISP is going to hiccup. It happens. Or some connection between you and your ISP. The reality is everybody with a rusty pair of pliers can call themselves an ISP.
Mm-hmm.
Right? So... and there's all those connections between us and you, and any one of them can go down.
It's not a straight line, folks. If you ever saw the pattern,
right,
it'd drive you nuts.
Really, the miracle is it happens at all.
Yeah.
I was telling a customer this week, if you understand how the internet works, you're absolutely flabbergasted that it works at all.
Exactly.
We send a packet out the
Totally
radio.
amazed.
We don't care if it ends up at the other end or not.
That's right.
Most of the time it does, but if it doesn't, too bad.
That's the way it is.
We did have a customer once say the internet didn't work, and when we got to the house, the internet doesn't work means he couldn't print this page.
Right.
Because his ink tank was empty, and the printer was saying replace ink tank.
Right.
But that meant the internet was broken.
That's exactly right. I used to tell my students, let me tell you how UDP works. I would like to tell you a UDP joke, but you might not get it, and I don't care if you do.
That's UDP.
That's UDP. It is exactly UDP.
But the Uniform Data Protocol?
It is uniform. Uniformly, I don't care if you get it.
Yeah.
User Datagram Protocol.
Yeah.
It's up for grabs.
Yeah. Okay, you didn't get it? Too bad. And that's because the normal stuff is very chatty.
Mm-hmm.
And it puts a lot of chat on the internet. I'm going to send you something. Okay, I'm ready to get something. Okay, here it comes. Okay, I want it.
Yep.
Okay, here it comes. Okay, I'm getting it. Okay, I'm done. Okay, I got it. Or UDP here. I don't care. And you're done.
And if the other end does say I got it, then they can send back a TCP packet and do that three-way handshake to make a connection.
And if I didn't get it, then I can send it again with TCP, but not with UDP. So, yeah, it's a very chatty protocol. UDP is not, and so a lot of stuff like video is sent UDP.
Yep. Vint Cerf and Bob Kahn and
Vint Cerf.
Yep. Just the forethought they had to design these protocols and have them still work 50 years later.
Yep. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Mike from Rochester, New York. What's up, Mike?
Yeah, hi, gentlemen. Kind of fortuitous this happened. I was just on my Chromebook this morning, messing around with it, just trying to, look at Google, et cetera, and all of a sudden, I went out and when I come back in, did something else, and I put up Google just for the heck of it in the search bar, and all it's doing now is it just said it's loading, and then it'll time itself out and said we can't connect to Google because it took too long for Google to respond. I'm on the hotspot, but it's a good connection, et cetera, was working fine. I don't think I got a virus or anything, but I've tried to I resetted it, rebooted it, 2 or 3 times, The launcher works okay, but when you go into the launcher and I'll hit Chrome, and it'll just say loading, and it'll sit there and nothing.
If you
So I'm
stop
just,
that load and go somewhere else, can you get to that other place?
Well, right, that's what I did. I instead of Google, I'll go say the NFL. I'll hit that one, and it'll just. I get the logo, and it just nothing happens. It just the bar goes, the little arrow goes around and around and around. I know it's a good connection because it was. Go ahead, yeah.
Have you tried restarting the hotspot itself?
Yeah, I did the whole
Flush
9
the
yards.
cache and memory.
Yep, I did all that, and that's what I thought. That's where I first went, and I rebooted the whole thing, and I happened to be in, I think it was, I forget which one it was. I took that off and cleaned everything out, put it back on again, restarted it, doing the same thing. I'm afraid I got a virus or something. It's only about a year old.
Well, it's unlikely that you have a virus. That's not how they work. They want to keep you connected to the internet so they can break into your machine. It is more likely that there's some sort of problem with your ISP. Do you have another device you can connect to the internet with through that same hotspot?
I have my phone. I could, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
so if you turn off your cell service on your phone and just use Wi-Fi, and you also can't get to the internet, the problem is at the hotspot provider.
You can try to test that on your device. If you have a command line, you can type something like ping soundbytes.com, and that sends one ping only, please. Actually, it sends more than that, but it sends a ping over the internet to the other end, and the other end says, "Okay, I got it," and sends a message back. That's kind of a very low level. Is the underlying connection working? And then, all right, then we'll load a HTTP protocol on top of that to go to a website.
It's funny because I did this. I'm doing it again. I'm trying to get into the Gmail, and this is the first time I've seen this. When it first came up, there's the logo and everything, and then on the bottom right it says, "If you're having trouble loading," I've never seen that. It says, "Visit Gmail Help Center." I don't know if the Google's having any problems or what. That's the first time
I
I've
just
ever
logged
seen
into
that.
Google, and I just clicked on Google, and it came right up. So I don't think it's Google. I think it's something to do with your hotspot. So that's why I suggest trying a different device through that hotspot and see if that's where your problem is.
Right, yeah. Okay. All right, good.
Or is this is this a laptop?
It's the Chromebook.
Okay. Well, if he took it, say, over to a coffee shop and that, and try connecting through their internet and see if it works.
That's a good point. That's a real good point. Because I got to go down to the store anyway. I'll take it.
Yeah,
That's a
take
good
it
point.
down there,
Okay.
go for a cup of coffee, and try it out there.
Okay, keep my fingers shut. It's good. It's a Lenovo, and it's works pretty good. But it's all of a sudden it went. I thought, geez, I'll call you guys.
That's the way to do it. But I think it's your hotspot. So check that out. And it's probably temporary. It's probably, we were just talking about this. Sometimes the
Weather-related.
ISP hiccups a little bit,
Yeah, no,
particularly
sometimes
with the
right.
wind the way it is and everything else. Who knows?
Yeah, a lot of birds on the line. Gotcha. Okay, guys, thanks again. I appreciate it. I'll try.
All right,
it. Thank
thanks. Yeah, I just got a text message this morning from my daughter. She said, "Dad, this is so timely." I said, "What?" She said, "For Christmas, I gave her a power bank and a light bulb that works. It's a regular LED light bulb, works great, except if the power goes off, it lights up."
Mm-hmm.
So she's got all of that plugged in. She says, one of the neighbors was saying this, the apartment building she's in has, loses power during high wind, blah, 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 blah. She said, "I'm ready now, Dad. Thank you." I said, "All right, we're good."
You're the hero.
I'm the hero. So, which is a reminder to each and every one of you, charge up all your devices today. Make sure that everything is ready in case there's a blackout.
I drove by a motel on the way here from the office, and there were like 50 cherry pickers.
Yep. Waiting and waiting.
Waiting just in case, yep.
Yep. Mm-hmm. There's a...
Now imagine those poor guys if the storm never hits here.
Yeah.
I hope they're still getting paid.
I hope so, too.
Yeah, they're on call.
Yeah, we've seen that. We were on vacation at one point, and we got there, and the guy said, "Yeah, here's your room." We got to our room, and it was supposed to be smokeless, and somebody clearly had been smoking cigars in it. So we asked if we could move. They said we don't have any other rooms. The guys are here for a snowstorm that's supposed to come in tonight, and every room is full. Okay, that's okay. I get it. That's fine. And then, of course, the next morning it was sunny and bright and lovely and charming. These guys were all sitting around just drinking coffee and with their feet up on chairs, having a great old time for themselves. Good for them, I say. I say good for them. But yeah, charge up all your devices. Make sure you're ready. Be aware. If you've got an uninterruptible power supply, which you should, if you've got a desktop machine, make sure that's working correctly. Your laptop, if you lose power, turn it off. You probably people tell me, "Oh well, we're gonna be able to work anyway because I got a laptop." Well, yes, you'll be able to work on your laptop, but you can't get out anywhere.
Yeah, at work we've got a UPS on our server and on our internet routers. Right. Richard in the chat said he switched his email to Yahoo and it worked great.
Excellent.
We hear. He said he was on the phone with Spectrum for hours and they couldn't fix it. We fix it in 2 minutes.
Yeah, at best,
it doesn't make any sense.
It's yeah. All right, back to the phones. Our next caller is Fred from Rochester, New York. Is this Fred calling back?
Yes, it is. Just a quick question about that light bulb that you mentioned.
Yeah.
Do you have a link to it? Source?
I'll see if I can find one. It was called, I think.
I've got one from Brookstone.
But there's hundreds of them. Mine was Jackson Lux. It doesn't matter.
Yeah. Just search for smart light bulb.
Yeah, mine was a Jack on Lux, JACKONLUX, and I got it from Amazon.
Okay, that's it. Thanks.
Yep. It's really kind of fun.
Now you can get smart switches, but you can also get smart light bulbs that have a computer in the light bulb.
In the light bulb and a battery. And what happens is, we got this through Dave from the Rochester Google's group. Thank you, Dave. We had, what you do is you plug it into the light socket, you screw it in just like a regular, it's a regular light bulb. It's an LED regular light bulb. You screw it in and it charges. Because there's always current in the wire, and it works like a regular light bulb. Turn it on, turn it off, works great. But if the power goes out, it recognizes that, and it turns itself on. So you're never in the dark, which I suppose is useless in the daytime if the power goes out. But so what?
Yeah.
If I'm sitting in my room and there's that moment of panic. I don't care who you are or where you are when everything goes dark in the middle of the evening. There's a little bit of panic. Well, this light will come on for me and it'll stay on. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah, that happened the other day when our power went out, and we're just waiting for a few minutes because we're watching a TV show and it dies.
Yeah.
But fortunately, since we use YouTube TV, the recording didn't stop.
Wow.
Because it's YouTube.
Of course, it's happening at the YouTube's end.
Yeah. But just about the time I got up to go get my phone and its flashlight, it came back on.
Yeah. Yeah. But I'm pretty impressed. They're not super cheap. But that's not the point. The point is it's an emergency device.
Mm-hmm.
And emergency devices cost a little more and they do a lot more. So I thought I ordered one. Apparently I ordered 4. So
their website has a 1-pack and a 2-pack. But you said you got it from Amazon, so they're probably
more. I got
more.
it from Amazon. Jack on Lux, JACKONLUX is what I got.
So if the power is off, does that mean it's something else?
It's Jack off.
Oh,
God, I hate you.
Only Steve would go
there. I hate
there.
you in ways you cannot begin to imagine. All right, so here's the thing. The other thing you can do with it is you can actually hold it in your hand and make it light up. Because your finger can provide the
capacitance.
You might have to wet your fingers, but you can provide the capacitance yourself to make it light up. It's actually pretty cool. So there's your next magic trick for your next party. I can make this light bulb work.
11,000 reviews and 4.5 stars.
There's also another little connector that comes with it that screws onto the end. It's got a hook, so you can take it camping. hang it somewhere, and then there's a button. You click the button and it goes on. So it's a very cool little
and
thing.
LEDs use so
little
less,
power. Yeah.
So much less power than your conventional light bulbs, and they're so much brighter.
Right.
I mean, I just last year replaced my porch light, which had two old-fashioned, they had the corkscrew lights, and I got an LED one.
Yep.
It was a little bit more, not much, not nowadays, and that thing, they had 3 different settings: low, medium, or high.
Yep.
And it's just all these LEDs, and boy, the whole porch lights up like crazy now, and I've only got it on medium.
I've got an LED light bulb in the computer room, and when I put it in, it said this light bulb will last for 7 years. So, of course, I wrote down the day I installed it.
Yeah, I always forget to do that.
It is now on its 8th year. That light bulb has been working for 8 years in that socket.
All the 5-year lights I seem to have die in a year, but I'd never wrote the date down, so I don't remember.
Right.
I've got they're the nightlight ones?
Yeah.
LED ones that, again, said that they would go from 8 to 10 years. And I bought those back in like 2008.
Yep.
And they are still going.
Yep.
And I got them a couple down the basement, one up in the kitchen, and then one in the stairways as you're coming on down. And they automatically come on once it starts getting dark.
Sure.
And they've been going since 2008.
Yep. And a lot of that depends on how you use them. So, for example, if you're turning a light on and off and on and off and on and off and on and off all day long, they'll die a little sooner.
Yeah.
In my case, I'm in the computer room, 20 hours a day. So I turn it on when I go in the morning. I turn it off when I go to lunch or whatever and dinner, but it's on pretty significantly during the day. But these Jack-on Lux rechargeable emergency LED bulbs seem to work pretty nicely. I've played with them and I think they'll be okay. So it's a little late to get them for this particular storm. But
there's always the next one.
There's order them now, so you'll have them for the next one.
And it'll happen here in Rochester.
Oh, in Rochester it will happen. So
we've been getting a number of, even last year, there was a number of windstorms last year, and tree limbs coming down and everything else. It just seems to be the trend that we're getting stronger winds coming down out of the valley.
I have, and I'm going to jinx myself by saying this, but in the 40 years we've lived in my house, we've only actually lost power once or twice. 3 times maybe total. But during the big ice storm a couple of decades ago, we had all the power went out in our neighborhood except our house. Our power lines were in the pond, but they were still live. I called RG&E and told them that. They said, no, you don't have power. I said, no, honest, I have power. You don't. Nobody in your neighborhood has power. I'm looking at a working light bulb, ma'am.
Yep.
I have power. Well, anyway, when they finally came to fix things, they yelled at me because there was a live power line in my pond. All right, we're done for another week. I want to thank Dave Enright. I want to thank Steve Ray. I'm Nick Francesco. I want to thank everybody who called in. I want to thank whoever wrote that cool little plug-in for OBS. We want to thank everybody who called in. We want to thank those of you who were kind and generous enough to donate on this National Radio Day, Public Radio Day. And we will be back next week with a whole lot more of the longest-running computer show in the known universe, Sound Bytes, right here on member-supported Jazz 90.1. We will see you in 166 hours. Be good to one another, will you?
Stardate January 13th.